lead. I'm Natan Verhovsky, and with me, I have an incredible guest, Mr. Camille Bunk. And am I saying it right? Is it Bank? Bunk?
Bank, right? Just like
Bank,
take
okay.
it to the bank,
I was
but
trying
a
to
little
make
bit
it all
more fancy because it's
fancy.
spelled with a C.
I was trying to
It's
make it
Camille
fancy.
with a K and bank with a C. There you go, right?
Oh, that's some
Get the
branding right
joke?
there. I love it, brother. I love it. That is awesome. That is awesome. Awesome. I'm so happy to have you on the show. I love it when we ask the three big questions that are the filter of the show. You know, how do you inspire those that you lead? What is it that you feel is your legacy? And if you only had one way to help someone else become limitless, what would that be? And all our guests, get filtered through that, and all of our audience gets to see you through that beautiful filter. But at the beginning, I want them to understand why we wanted to reach out to you as a leader in the first place. So let me flip it over. Let me do some fancy foreshadowing on this side. There we go. We got
Yeah.
ticker tapes going, ladies and gentlemen. Reaching out contact is coming in a second. Camille, tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, my background actually kind of ties into my style and what you're asking about. So I'll be brief, but I was born during the Cold War. I just turned 40, so it was the tail end of it. Then I was smuggled to Germany. I grew up in Germany. And then in my 20s, I ended up moving to Hawaii out of all places. And I started a business there. And the reason why I say it kind of ties into what I do is, as you can see here, which is my life motto, it's called Adapt and Create. And
Mm,
with that comes really, I mean, kind of like it says, right? I'm really used to adapting to a environment that's maybe not very stable. There's a lot of uh, potential risks, but also rewards. And that's pretty much where I'm going with my message, and that's how I try to inspire other people as well.
where do you feel that you tell them that I want to take a trip to Rhode Island, nobody cares. You tell them I want to take a trip to Mars, all of a sudden people go, what a mission, what a vision, what a purpose. I want to hitch my wagon to your star. What big audacious hairy goal do you have that other people would be just like, damn, I either want to join him or support him in some way?
Right. So I actually just came up with that about a week ago because what I do is I help companies with AI implementation, basically bringing them up to speed, showing them what the potential opportunities are in this very unkind environment that's very dynamic and you have to adapt. There's no question asked. But to answer your question, my big vision, people like hope or fear. You can push them either way, but I tend to like the hope version. Um, and I want to help a certain sector of people, which are generalists, kind of like me, those jack of all trades and the polymaths. I want them to have a brighter outlook on the future where AI plays a big role, and I call that future Renaissance 2.0. And that's basically
Okay.
what I came up with last week or a week and a half ago while contemplating what is my big hairy goal. What could I actually maybe even design conferences around, and that's pretty much it.
Wow. I love that. I love that. That is deep. That is heavy, and that speaks to us because when you're coming from your background and you've been doing it not just as long as you've been doing it, but at the level that you've been playing, and where other people that are pretty well acknowledged have no problem acknowledging you as one of the leaders and leading voices in AI in the world today. That is something that speaks to a lot of people that go, oh crap, well, if this guy's a professor, doctor, and the adjudicator that tests me to give me my doctorate at Harvard University, how approachable can he be? And it sounds so
Just for the
scary,
record,
but
I'm just a German engineer.
one of those
Yeah,
that's
right, right.
understandable. That's understandable. And I love that. I love that.
Yeah. But do you
So
want me to go a little bit more into detail, maybe, so that people don't just hear Renaissance 2.0? I wanted to
if
just
you could,
give a
I
brief
didn't want to
nutshell.
cut you off. I would
Yeah, yeah,
have
yeah.
you to
No,
keep
no, no. I know.
rocking my
'Cause,
boat, please.
I like to talk a little bit in abstractions. So even though adapt and create, what does that mean, right? So basically, what I see and what's pretty obvious, the way I see it every day, is that people that are adaptable, they know how to integrate information across domains and people that are really capable of lifelong learning, and that includes actually also specialists in one field that are still willing to expand their horizons. Those are the people that will really thrive in the coming years when we have AI do all the mental grunt work essentially as well. So we all have to kind of learn additional steps, skills that will put us on a higher rung of the ladder, basically directing all that, right? So this is basically the idea of helping people understand that those are the skills that will be necessary, and a couple more. Um, Showing them that there's opportunity instead of just being afraid that AI will take your job, and then implementing it, and showing them how I implement it. And that's basically what I do 24/7.
I love that you do that on a ridiculously high level and for very high level people in organizations. I even saw earlier today, I think it was on YouTube. It was a targeted ad clearly, but it was absolutely hilarious and it says, "Hey, if you're over 40 and the only AI you know is Chat GPT, come to this webinar. There's a lot. You need to do more. There is more. It's a good thing, I promise." And I was like, it's so significant what you're saying that it's come down in like the social zeitgeist that is happening on my phone. I'm like, ha, if only you knew the people I know, you wouldn't be targeting me. It would be like targeting you. That'd be hilarious. But that's how validating what you're doing is. It's trickled
Yeah.
down from where you're in your head going, I play with these high level people and I think these thoughts, and who knows when activity will happen. Who knows when that tipping point, right? When critical mass gets hit. Who knows? I'm like,
Mm.
I got an ad on YouTube today, Camille. So if you're curious, tipping, it's now. It's the social now. And I think that's
Yeah.
so
It's
crazy that you're
and
riding that
just
wave as a surfer, man.
yeah, and just seeing it behind the scenes, how things are evolving, is mind-boggling to me. I think I don't even know where society is going to go, but again, I thrive in those chaotic environments, and I want to show people that it's possible to kind of navigate your own path, even if there's no path before you. So we'll see where we go, right?
I love that. I love that. I think that's powerful. I think that's beautiful. I think that messaging is important, that people know where to come from, and that it's more than just you and your frustration out there in the world, that this is a lot of us and we're all going through a crazy time right now, and we're all coming through a place that if we can all kind of community, if we can all the tide rises all boats, if we can all be collective in that sense,
Hmm.
what an incredible opportunity we have. Everyone's always concerned about the, dun dun dun. Will it become Skynet? Will it become, um, when will it hit that event horizon? When will it become self aware? All of those things. And yet I'm like, there's so much fun and to do and progress and growth. And wow, long before anything like that could possibly happen. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, to some extent, there are some risks, obviously, and I truly believe that this is more than just another technological advancement. This is really something much bigger than that. So we don't really know how things will end up playing, but you can only try to influence on what you have power over, and really worrying about it, it's not going to really help. You need to see what are the levers that I can pull and push, and just make your own destiny.
I love that. And I think that's so important that you give people that extra edge.
I
Beautiful,
try.
beautiful, beautiful. Now,
There's a lot
before
of
we go to,
opportunity. It's crazy. One of the best things that I like about my job is really right now. It's I almost feel like a magician sometimes, but a lazy magician, because I don't do the magic. The tools and the methods do the magic, but I just show it to people, and it's literally
okay,
I blow at least two minds every week. So it's just fun,
you have to,
seeing
because
people.
just the people and the places that you go, it's so different, and the ways that you can interact with people, very, very different. That's what I love, that there's people that give back. You have your own show over at one of the groups that we play with and stuff, and there's so many other places that you play on, and who knows all the behind the scenes ways. That's why before we talk about the second point, which is what's the legacy, and that's what we're talking about thinking now. Even looking at internet, when internet first came out, and people are like, "Yeah, it's great. It's another technology. Relax. I got a bunch I'm working with. Have you heard about fax machines?" You're like, "You don't understand." And I'm like, first time the cloud came out, and people are like, "Yeah, that's great. Everything should go in the cloud." I'm like, "You don't understand." And I'm like,
And my
"Is
favorite
AI?"
clients are the ones that are still relying on the fax machine.
Oh,
Those
Jesus.
are the best, 'cause
So, are
guess
you?
what? They're having great businesses and all, right? And I show them, "Hey, look, okay, it's been going well, but now you have to adapt because it's not gonna go well for much longer."
Yeah, and it really
Yeah.
has
Mm.
like a shelf life.
Yeah.
So that's scary for a lot of people. They're like, "Hey, what do we do?" Like, that's scary.
Mm.
If you were to come from that position, that place of power where you're looking at, okay, why is it that those that should be the most empowered by AI are terrified by it? Those that are being empowered by it, we're more nervous that they're going to use it for harm than good. And why is it that like we can't collectively go, aha, we finally found something that can give peace and transparency and like a beautifully collective aha as a humanity, that sigh of relief.
Mm. I mean,
How do you see it?
there's a couple of angles you can take there. Number one, I think the best thing that you can do about it is just to learn about it, right? Because oftentimes fear stands from something that you don't understand, that you don't know. There's a lot of different angles to fear as well, right? Will it replace me? Am I too old to understand it? Can I learn about it? The beautiful thing about this technology is technically you can use that technology to learn about it. So that's something that other technology trends didn't have before. So if you wanted to learn about the internet, I remember if I was back in Germany as a kid and we had this dial-up modem. I think I had to
Yeah.
learn from my school friends, like, wait, there's a number you have to put in there, a phone number, and then it goes somewhere, and then you have a browser, right? You had to get
Heaven
that from
forbid
external
somebody
sources.
calls you while you're on the modem. And what? My
Oh
internet.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, right.
man.
I forgot that part. Yes, yeah.
That was
So
the best part. Yeah.
yeah, so
14-year-old
to answer
kids
your
trying to
question,
download a
yeah.
booby picture. You get halfway through and they're like, no, it took me 2 days. I've been downloading. Damn you.
You know what's funny right
Dad's
now?
like,
I
you
just
can't
made
keep
that joke
downloading
with my
for
wife
2 days.
yesterday. You know the Polaroid pictures, right? Where you would take
Yep.
some time to kind of develop, and then the pictures that you just
Yep.
described with the slow modem, you would always have to wait. And now we're actually at the same spot where you generate images, and because of the limited compute power that we have in a ChatGPT account, it also takes like, and it goes from the top to the bottom. And I was just like, that's kind of a fun analogy there.
I love that. Well, have you noticed that the shift, even historically, when we're looking at technology and IT, it came from hardware driven back in the day and software trying to catch up to the flip where software drives everything and hardware is like, okay, I gotta find a way to like be able to support that. Holy
Mm,
crap. And then software just keeps going, well, if you could do more,
yeah.
you know, I could do more. And it just keeps going back and forth. I love that flip. Do you feel that that's a good thing, a bad thing?
I mean, generally, heart or atoms have been slower to move and to improve than pixels. So I agree with that. I think the
Ooh,
big. I mean, that's not for
that's
me.
deep.
That's actually something that Peter Thiel says oftentimes. But what was I going to say? I think the main shift that we'll see when it comes to adoption of this technology is not just going to be which one develops faster, but I feel like the customers of like my clients, for example, or any business, their customers will in some form or shape have an expectation that can only be met if you actually use AI. Whether this is personalizing your menu for somebody, or your web store, or having just a sheer amount of um, back and forth that is very like almost on an individual level, that won't be, no business is going to be able to do that manually anymore. So I think that's where the demand will come from, and that's where the adoption will drive as well.
I love that. That's very cool. I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying the show, if you're picking up what we're putting down, if you're feeling the love and the vibe, help the algorithm, help us spread some of this around. Put a like, put a comment, put a share, grab a little something, something in the chat. You've got contact information from me and from Camille. I'm going to take 1 minute and see here. We're going to put this on a quick mute. I wanted you guys to see what this looks like if you wanted to step up here and talk to us, being a leader, leaving legacy, and helping others get limitless. Take a look.
Ever wonder what sets real leaders apart? It's not the corner office, it's the impact they make. Welcome to the Voices That Lead podcast with Natan Verkovsky, where we dive deep with leaders who put service first. These aren't just CEOs or big names. They're people making a difference, building legacies through acts of kindness, mentorship, and heart. Every episode you'll hear powerful stories, straight from those who lift others up and inspire change. Looking for practical advice, authentic conversations, or just a spark to unleash your own limitless potential? You'll find it here. Because leadership isn't just about where you end up. It's about who you help along the way. Join the community and get inspired. Reach out to be a featured guest on the program. Leaders, legacy, limitless. Subscribe to the Voices That Lead podcast. Join us as a speaker and let others be inspired by you. Become the leader you're meant to be.
There you go. Personal invitations all around. Oh, thank you. I'm loving that
go.
you popped that in. Excellent. So we've even got an extra tag for Camille here, and we've got everybody's name underneath them. Bravo. Life works out once in a while. Technology even helps. Who knew? It can
Right?
handle that wonderfulness. Wow.
I
All
always
right.
joke that we'll get to artificial general intelligence before we learn to do Zoom meetings correctly. But it seems like it's working out. Streams are
Oh
even
my
more difficult.
Everybody I talked to since the pandemic began, I've been like, we could have skipped all of this stuff and no need to have made up any businesses or anything. We could have just gotten a t-shirt company with one t-shirt and it says, "You're on mute." And on the back, it
Mm,
says, "Nope, still on mute." I'm like, that's been the last 5 years online.
that's funny. That's a
Oh,
good one.
man. That would have made us so much money. We would have been rich. I'm
Yeah,
convinced
it's
we
like a
did that by
paddle or
now.
something.
Yep. So let me
Oh,
ask you, legacy wise, that makes tons of sense. I love the way that you inspire those that you lead, and you have so many people around the world that you do, and you play with such a high level and high frequency that they have to resonate with you. On the last note, the way that you help others become limitless, what's that one gift that you can give to them?
when you think on a fundamental level, I could say learn this tool, learn that tool, or behave like this, but it's really about being having a brain that's adaptable and with that I mean a growth mindset. I would love to have a part in teaching people to learn how to learn, and just have an appetite for that. Because
Mm,
and in a way, I've always been doing this because I've been always in some form or shape. I've been a consultant before, even when I started my own companies. I always enjoyed that because essentially you get paid to learn in a way, right?
how
Because you
cool
have to
is that?
learn something. Even now with a lot of stuff, and I'm transparent with my clients. Like I'll focus on fundamentals, and if something better comes out along the way, we'll make it happen. But I don't know. It's
Hmm.
a very, very unpredictable environment right now. But if there's one thing that I can if I would love for people to understand is that they need to learn how to learn and be passionate about learning.
I like that. And I think when we talked earlier about the people that we know that are not just multi talented, multiple businesses and sideline hustles, that's just the result of being a polymath. They just can't help
Yeah.
themselves. They look at work and play the same. They take both just as seriously. And to them, it's not serious, it's the same thing. So only
Right.
others are going to be like, "What activity are you doing?" "Oh, he's playing." When I play musical instrument, I play it at a level that people pay for. So am I taking it seriously? I'm like, yes. Did I take years to get there? Yes. It's a
Mm.
different, but I play. So to me, it's not work, it's play. And to other
Right.
people, when they go to work and they have their companies and they're like, ah, crap, I have more than one. I got to go to this and I got to, no, this is play. So I love that you share that all of this goes around and around in that way. That's beautiful.
Yeah. I do have to
Now, if
say though
people,
that it's not all just easy for generalists, right? Or like you say, right? This phrase, jack of all trades, master of none.
yep,
I wanted to say the full phrase, but with that, there's a method to the madness. Okay, you can't just be scatterbrained and try to start everything, and you know that, right? Yeah, you have to have a certain type of method to really get to checkpoints, and then you can move on to something else. But I wanted to say this whole phrase. The whole phrase goes like this: a jack of all trades, master of none, yet still better than a master of none. One.
yes,
I
yes.
messed it up.
No, no,
So
no,
keep
no.
that in
But
mind.
everyone got you. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
You said that like the way my wife tells jokes, and halfway through she's
Yeah,
like,
I'm horrible
"Oh
at
wait,"
telling jokes.
and I'm like, "Oh
I'm the
shit!"
worst,
You're like, "You
and
just
that's
told
why
the
I actually
punchline." She's like, "I
wanted to
know."
become a. I wanted to do a stand-up class, but
That would have
because
been
I'm
the
so bad at it.
best. That would have been the best. Oh my god. Anyway, Camille, it's been a pleasure. Tell the
Yeah,
good
no,
people if they
something.
want to reach out to you, if they want to find you, if they want to come play with an AI implementation expert and consultant, where do they go? What do they do?
The best way is to connect with me through my newsletter. It's at aiadopters.club. It's a newsletter on Substack, and you can subscribe for free. You can have my ear there. Second best is on LinkedIn. I think you'll link them both here, so people can check that out.
Yep. Bravo, bravo, and thank you so much for joining us. We can't wait
Thank
to have
you.
you come back because I know that with the proliferation of AI coming out and the ridiculousness of people being able to figure out how to use it, and then other people going, well, hold on now, maybe we should make our own, and it just it's spinning out of control. We're gonna have you come back. We're gonna have to check back in a little bit because AI is going so crazy. I don't think it's even following Moore's law. I don't think it's doubling every like year and a half. I'm like, I got to be faster than that now. It's crazy.
Seems like it for sure. There's a couple of
It feels like
laws
it.
that it's
Yeah.
breaking.
Yeah. And that was a big one because that held the rest of the internet. And, before we started talking about quantum computing and other wonderful topics that we'll be popping in with, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you come back and join us. This is going to be a place where we want to make sure that you can come and hear the voices that lead, that they're going to be available to you, and that anytime you want to come pop in, reach in, this is going to also come back around and know that anyone that wants to lead, have a legacy already, they're at that beautiful stage, and they're at the blessed frequency of abundance where they want to give back and they have a way to help somebody else become limitless, please reach out to me. And please reach out to Camille because, man, the conversation you guys are going to have, guarantee you it's epic.
I'll try
Epic,
to
epic,
blow their
epic. On
mind.
that note, yeah, that won't be too hard, my friend. So I will ticker tape you out. Take us out with a deep thought of the day, and we'll go on our way.
Deep thought of the day. Now you got me.
Mister,
Know.
let's just wing it. All right.
How can I adapt in a crisis? Like, what is the crisis in my life, and how can I turn it into an opportunity? That's pretty much my day to day.
I love that. I love that. There's
And
that.
start on a
There's
small
a really
scale,
bad. Yeah. Have you heard that bad translation where they say like the same word in Chinese is for crisis and opportunity?
Is that not the case?
It's a
I
white
don't know.
guy, I don't speak Chinese version of
Like
the truth. So
Chinese tattoo type of translation.
right? Like you're like, oh no, I misspelled
Yeah.
it even in another language. Crap. When
I
I
mean,
had
whether it's
a Chinese friend of
right or
mine,
wrong, it kind of makes sense. So I'll take it.
I had a friend of mine who speaks Chinese properly, and for him, he made it clear that he's like, look, this is the entire character. This character represents crisis. Way down here, this little part that represents opportunity. And I'm like, oh, so an opportunity is a part of the cake. Gotcha. I'm like, yeah, that just take too long for us to say out loud. But It's not
Yeah.
crisis equals opportunity. I'm like, that's ridiculous. You'd have to be a demagogue. You'd have to be an opportunist. You'd have to like take advantage of things when everyone else is
Right.
crying and suffering. You'd be like, excellent. So no, it's not meant to be like that at all. That's where it's a lot more positive, and I wanted other people to get that vibe and stuff. So yes, thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. Thank you for sharing time with us, Camille. We'll have to have you come back.
Thank you, Nathan. Have a wonderful day.
Awesome. My pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us.